Welcome to Paw Prints and Passports. We explore the world through pet sitting. I'm Glenyce.
I'm Rodney, or Hubby.
Hubby Hughes, as we call him. Today we are sharing how we get paid as trusted house sitters.
How do we get paid? Well, now you're going to find out.
We actually aren't paid in terms of paid as cash or salary or wages. We are paid through what we like to see, or see it as, I guess, win-win.
Definitely.
Which means that we as pet sitters are winning because of the beautiful homes we're staying in, the sweet pets we get to snuggle with, all the perks of whatever the pet parents have left for us or gifted us. And the pet parents get to win by having people like us who love pets and are happy to take care of homes as though they are our own. And that's a win-win for us.
That's got to make your vacation a lot easier if you know your house is safe and happy. And the pets, I mean.
And we had pet sitters for years and years and years, and it certainly did for us. We just didn't use this platform, which we use Trusted House Sitters now, so we actually paid somebody to come and stay and do it. But now, if we ever had pets again, we would be using Trusted House Sitters for that too.
Yeah.
So in all the sits that we've done then, hubby, how do you feel like it's a win-win for you personally?
Well, you get to see different places. You get to experience the area, plus the people are trusting you with their house. So it's a win-win. We're not paying for hotel rooms. We're not, paying for anything, basically electric or anything. We're here staying in someone's home, and they're never hovels. They're always beautiful places we get to stay in. And I get to have a different cat or dog every time I go anywhere. So it's great.
Or in this case, because we are still where we were the last show that we did, we've got donkeys and chickens and a rooster that got out this morning.
Sheep.
They
got out yesterday. It was a big colditz escape.
And yesterday we got to go to the Indigenous Peoples Day in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, because we were here. We were able to do that, which we wouldn't have been able to do had we been, had a home somewhere else. So I would say for myself, in terms of the win-win, what really makes it a win-win for me is, like hubby talked about, the homes. And on the platform we use, you can actually see pictures of the home. So there probably are homes that maybe we wouldn't choose, but we get to see the pictures, so we can choose those ones. In fact, we had a 2-month sit in Texas recently, and it was incredible. I mean, everything, and of course the 2 pups that were there too. They had a weekly cleaner that they continued to pay to come in while we were there. They had pool guys that came in while we were there, and they had lawn people that came in while we were there. So we didn't have to do anything other than take care of the pups and, general upkeep of the home, of course.
And that is what they wanted. They didn't want us there cleaning. They wanted us looking after their pets and making sure someone was out throwing the ball all day for the dog. And that was definitely one of probably our best win-wins of this whole year.
Yeah. In fact, I looked this morning on our profile just so I could give you numbers, and we have completed 29 sits. So this would actually be our 30th sit. And out of those 29, there's been only one that I would say didn't feel like a win-win. And it was one of our first few sits, probably our 5th or 6th sit. And so we didn't really have this concept yet. And when we went to kind of get the lowdown on how to take care of it, was 2 cats and different things, they specifically showed us their spice cupboard and specifically said you can use anything here, which meant not to touch anything else. Now, I say that, I don't mean that people should give us access to everything or they owe us anything. I do not. And I also really appreciate the clarity. I love knowing what I can touch and what I can't touch. I would hate to touch something that I think I can touch, and the pet parents get home and they're upset about it. So she was very clear, which I was grateful for, but it didn't have that same win-win where when I talk about win-win, it's this energy of where the pet parents are so grateful we're there, and we, the pet sitters, are so grateful to be there.
I think that was the only sit that I was glad to leave. You know, most of them, I'm glad to leave because I'm going somewhere else, but I was just glad to leave.
So what I would look at for yourself, if you're going to start pet sitting, is what is a win-win for you with that? Or if you're looking at having pet sitters come in, what is a win-win for you? And it was an article that was posted on the forum for trusted house sitters last year that really got me to look at this. I wouldn't have maybe used the term win-win until I saw it in this article. And in the article that the guy wrote, he talks about, you know, how it's basically saving the pet parents money, because otherwise you'd be either kenneling your pets or hiring somebody to come in. And so looking at that, or as a pet sitter, you know, what actually would be a win-win for you. For us, we know we like the flexibility, so we can go to different events, or we can go out, or one of us can go out and the other can stay in, so we don't have to be, you know, with the pets 24 hours a day, or we don't have, you know, it doesn't have to be both of us all the time. In Texas, you went away for a couple days to go geocaching.
Went into Mississippi.
So those two pups were easy enough for me to care for on my own. So with that win-win, it's really looking at that for yourself. You know, I know for myself, having a big spacious home is a win-win for me, for sure. I like to have space. I like to have workspace.
Likes to get away from me.
So for me, that's a win-win. So I will look at those pictures. I will make sure that the houses are going to work for us. I'm also willing at this point to ask for what we need, which for hubby and I, unless it's a king size bed, it's uncomfortable for us to sleep together. So I either make sure there's a king size bed or that there's two beds for us to be able to sleep comfortably. Now, when we first started, I didn't ask for those things. One, I wasn't as clear on how important it was. Mm-hmm. But two, I didn't realize, or I didn't have the confidence, I guess, to ask, or I wasn't willing to lose the sit for it. Where at this point, I know that it's only going to be a win-win if I can have comfortable sleeps, really.
And the whole deal is, I mean, you get up in the morning, you're refreshed, you're good with the animals. If you get up in the morning, you're tired and cranky, you're not going to take the dog for an hour walk or a half-hour walk.
Yeah. There was one sit also that nobody, I don't know, it was quite a ways into our sits, probably your 20th sit or something like that. And they actually asked us what we wanted for groceries, what we wanted them to bring in for groceries for us. And at the time, we were both so shocked by it and weren't willing to receive that. So we're like, oh no, oh nothing. No, that's okay. No. And it was really uncomfortable. It was really, really uncomfortable. And we talked afterwards about it and said, let's decide what we'll say next time.
Yeah.
Because if somebody wants to gift something to you, and because for them, it was such a huge thing. They were able to go, I think, for a month to their, to a tropical location. And so we were, in their eyes, we were gifting way more than we were receiving in their eyes. And by us saying no, it just felt weird. So we've actually talked about that. And if we were to be asked now, what would we say? Do you remember?
Well, we would say, you know, we're not picky eaters, but we like sourdough bread and butter and milk and eggs and stuff like that. That's what we would ask for, or a gift card, you know. Then they can give it, because there's no point in them buying the sausages that we don't like, and then they come home and they're sitting there. So yeah, a gift card or just a few of the staples that we really like 10-ounce steaks and craft beer, stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen you eat a steak in our time together. So, and it's just if people ask, we wouldn't ask for that, of course, because to me it is, without the food, it's still a win-win. I'm in a beautiful home. I don't have to pay for power or internet or water. I have so many things that I can utilize. Plus, if you're an animal person, Like we've basically, like this sit, we have animals, but they're not indoor pets that you can cuddle. If you don't have your own, I don't think you realize, or if you do have your own, I don't think you realize how much people like us, who are very much animal people, appreciate spending time with animals. That that to me is such a huge win-win. Like my life is so much better and fuller when I have animals in the house to love.
Yeah, they give a different vibe off than people. That's why I prefer my animals. But going back to the people that did offer to buy us food and we refused, they said anything in the house is yours. So we ended up with pretty much everything that we normally eat and would buy anyway. So, you know, it worked out well as opposed to nothing.
And that's what I would say with the win-win, the people that are the pet parents that recognize that it's a win-win to have us in, and we recognize that it's a win-win to be here. That is often what they also say too, is like, whatever you would like, you can access here. And that's not that we're going to go out and, you know, steal their bag of rice, of course, but it's nice to know that we don't have to go out and buy a bag of rice for one meal. Or I remember at that point, that was January of this year, and there had been a shortage of brown sugar, and we wanted to make this sweet and sour hamburger stuff that we love, and we hadn't made in a long time, and we hadn't been at a sit that had that actually had brown sugar, I guess, really, until that sit. And so as she was walking us around the house, I was like, you know, one thing we'd really love is brown sugar. And so she's like, took me to her baking cupboard. I don't know, she had 3 bags in there. It was great. It was great.
Well, on this sit, where we are at now, they told us that we have free run of all the fridges except for the 2 downstairs, or 3 downstairs, I believe there is. Other than that, we can use anything we like. And I did notice, though, seeing as there's a sriracha shortage, they do have a bottle. But I'm not going to steal it because I did actually score a bottle a couple of days ago, so I should be good.
And I should really clarify too, we don't ever take the food out of the house. So if they say we can use whatever, he might use the sriracha while he's here, but it stays here. So just to clarify that, they're not saying please shop here for free.
Load the car up with all their groceries.
Yeah, no, that's not ever it. And that for us is a huge win-win, because we do this full time, which means we're traveling with our food. So I don't actually want to buy brown sugar to use it once every 3 months and carry it in and out of houses and all of that.
It's the same with herbs and spices. I mean, how often do you use a little bit of dried mustard? Well, by the time we finished carrying a can around, it's done a lot of miles.
And you know what I have seen in the last, I would say, month on 2 different sits. Now, I don't look at every sit that gets posted on Trusted House Sitters, of course, but there have been 2 different ones that I've seen where they've mentioned the people they choose would actually get financial payment. So they didn't ever specify how much that was or anything, but I have seen that twice. So it's not that it's impossible. It's just not something, it's not why we do it.
No.
And I think at this point, if somebody said, hey, could we pay you? I'd be open to it. I wouldn't not receive it like we did about the groceries. Yeah. But it's certainly not needed. It feels like I often use, when I write my reviews, I'll say I feel like we won the lottery at this sit, because I truly feel like we won the lottery at a lot of sits.
I mean, I don't know, if someone comes, if these people here said, oh, we're going to pay you, how much do you want? I wouldn't have a clue how much to say. I really wouldn't know.
Honestly, at this sit, we'd say nothing.
Yeah.
Because this sit is so, I'm going to say so easy. There's just, Rodney does some chores in the morning, goes out in the afternoon, picks eggs? I don't think you pick eggs. Collect eggs?
Collects eggs, yeah. Pick cherries, collect eggs.
That's right. So it's such a simple sit that we would probably thank them and say no thank you. And actually, I should say, at this sit, she is also does pottery. And so I asked about a couple of her cups, and she gifted them to us.
Look at those beauties. Aren't they gorgeous?
Wow. So we did actually get paid in a form of cash.
2 china cups.
two beautiful cups. So that is how we get paid, guys. We don't get paid, so to speak, in, a paycheck. We get paid in so many other ways.
And this also is a sit that we've done before here. I came up last year and done, I think, a week here, was it? A week?
I think so, yeah.
And they had mentioned about going to Germany or Australia, so I thought, oh, we can get a month up here, it'd be great. So we've got a week here because we're on a canoe trip, but it's a repeat sit, which is great.
So if you have any questions for us about any of this, please let us know. We have our link to Trusted House Sitters if you want 25% off. It is a yearly membership. However, then, as we've just been talking about, when you either go pet sitting or you bring pet sitters in, there's no cost. You're not paying them. There is just a win-win if you choose it to be so.
With that, I think we're bringing this one to a close.
Yep.
So I'm going to let the boss say goodbye first.
Goodbye.
Okay, and goodbye from me. See you next week.